Well done, my child, in this situation. That's mishandling. There must be a time you pat them on the back. There must be a time you say, oh, well done. This is a job well done. There's nobody that does not like that, especially coming from a parent. You know, some youth, some children are living under that shadow that I've never done anything that my father will say, well done. I've never done anything that my mother will say, well done. Every time is a criticism. You may not have noticed it. They will have noticed it over a long period of time. There will be some times, some things they will do, outsiders will commend them. They get home, they see their parents, the way the parents will handle it. They say, look at it, outsiders are commending me, but my mother cannot even say, well done. All these things matter. All these things matter. No matter how little, encourage them. God will help us. Let's look at that, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4. What did he say about that? Ephesians 6, 4. It says, especially that first part. Ephesians 6, 4 says, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. When it is every time criticisms, no encouragement, you don't see anything good that they are doing, it's all time condemnation, they may be provoked. They may be provoked to wrath. They may be angry. How is it every time? No. They may not say these things. It will be eaten away at them. And that is not good for the training of the child. Another point, another sign of bad parenting. Not setting rules, but blaming children at the slightest infractions. Not setting rules. You didn't set rule. You didn't tell them this is a no-go area. You didn't tell them this is wrong. And then the first time they will do that thing, you will now say, aha, why did you do it? Why did you? You began to beat. But you have never set rules. Even they say something, Iluti obasofi, kosi eshe. Before you begin to rebuke a child over something, ask yourself, is there a firm rule I've put down over this thing? Has he or she gone against that law before? That I warned him, first time, second time, third time. Before you begin to grow harsh. Many times we don't set rules. We just assume that you're supposed to know that that is wrong. No. Where will they know? It is the home that is the ideal training ground. You first of all do the training. You first of all set the rules. You put the boundary where he can go, where he cannot go, where he can get to, before you begin to say some things and rebuke when they have gone against that rule. Another sign of bad parenting. Lack of or little support during stressful times. That is, lack of support or little support during stressful times. As adults go through stressful times, children also go through stressful times, bad times. And it will be our wisdom to always discern when they are going through stressful period. I give an example there. Time of exam. When your child is writing an exam, it's a stressful time. You should note all those things and provide support and encouragement. Some parents, their children are writing exam, they are going through stress. They would never ever say, so what's happening to you? I see that You are frowning these days. What's happening? And if you have been a friend enough of that child, you will open up. Mommy, I'm passing through this. This is what is happening to me in school. There's a boy that is harassing me. That's so and so. There's a girl that is doing this to me. That's why they will open up to you. Yes. We must be providing support at stressful times. Just as we want support during times of stress. We want somebody to talk to us. We want somebody to counsel us, to diffuse all those tension in our heart. They also need it. They also need it. And it is we that will discern it. It won't come to you. She won't come to you easily, except you have built that relationship. To tell you that, Mommy, you know I'm going through this. Daddy, I'm going through this. But which you should discern. Oh, you are writing an exam? Okay. How are you coping? It may be that he's having some problems with mathematics, having some problem with a particular course, having some problem with a lecturer, and he may not tell you. So, but when you discern all those things, you should provide support. It's part of the duties so that we will not fail as parents. When he cannot get support with you during stressful time, and he gets the support elsewhere, because he will look for the support elsewhere. When he gets the support elsewhere, from anywhere he gets the support, that person is getting his heart. Is taking his heart away from you, or at least a part of his heart. Another sign of parental failure: comparing children, leading to envy and jealousy. When we begin to compare children with children. See your sister. Your sister, see the way he used to do, the way he used to greet me. See your brother, the way he used to, see your friend that used to come. Don't you used to watch the way he used to dress? Let's see what the Bible itself says. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12. 2 Corinthians 10, 12. For we dare not make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves. But they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. Don't compare children. They have different abilities, different gifts. Basically, they are the same, but they differ in some little things. So don't compare. If a child is, address the issue. You are not reading enough. Don't say, don't you see the way that brother used to, that your friend, when I went to their house, the way he used to read, I read from so and so and so till so and so. Don't compare. Just address that issue with that. You don't read enough. You ought to be reading from so and so to so and so, and make sure that you read qualitatively. You read very well. It's not that there's time spent. That's what, address the issue. Just go to the issue. Don't begin to compare. It's not good. It can lead to envy and jealousy. Especially when you are comparing among your own children. At a point, the one that you are saying is better than this one, the one that you are putting down, so to say, you begin to look, okay, so you are the mommy's favorite. That's the problem with in Jacob's house now. At a point, you know, Jacob will sew coat of many colors for Joseph. And then the others were looking at, okay, this is the father's favorite. When all of us will go to the field, he will keep him at home. He will say he's the child of his old age. So that began to provoke some jealousy and envy between them, inside them. And that thing began to grow. It was with them for a long time, until the day they decided to what? To sell him as a slave. Don't compare children. God will help us. Another sign of bad parenting not respecting our children's feelings. Not respecting our children's feelings. They also, as they have feelings. You must regard their feelings. Anything you want to do, regard their feelings. Respect their feelings. Thank God. You can do this. It is today that when we become adults and we become parents, we are always telling our children that we were the best of children. When I was like you, I don't used to do like that to my father. I don't used to do like that to my mother. This is what I do, this is what I do. Let's respect their feelings. Respect their feelings. Whatever you are saying, the way you address them, the way you talk to them, respect their feelings. Listen to their own side of everything. From there you can know how to deal with the issue at hand. When you finish talking and he said, Mommy, I want to say, stop. He said, that's what I want. Let him talk. Let her talk. Don't just shut them down. It is as they speak, you know how to address the issues, their fears. They have fears also over what you are telling them, over what they are seeing, over what they are experiencing. They have their fears. There's a way they relate to these things. You may be relating to it in a different way. See their own side of the story. And then sympathize. It is when you hear them out that you can debunk some of the things that they are saying. You can debunk it. And then you can say, okay, Mommy, I can understand now. I understand what you are saying now. I see it your own way. That is right. Or you just shut them up. They will still be thinking that they are what? They are right. They'll be thinking they are right. God will help us. Not respect, when you don't respect your children's feelings, you may lose them. You may be able to fast all through the day, and you are just trying to break them into fasting. And he's saying that, Mommy, let me start it gradually. He said, no. You must carry it up to that 3 o'clock. You must carry it up to that 6 o'clock. He wants to say something. He said, no, don't talk. But he wanted to tell you that by the time he's getting to so and so, this is how I'm feeling. You don't want to listen to it. No, it's wrong. Listen to it. Listen to it. Then you begin to tell, hey, that's the way we normally feel. Okay, maybe what you do tomorrow when you do like that, when you feel like that, take a cup of water and let's see how it turns out. And he goes to take a cup of water. He said, Mommy, I feel better. And I can take it to 6 like this. It's better. You are walking along. You are carrying him along. You are carrying her along. When he sees you as you are just putting your feet down on everything. He says, it's not respecting my own. He doesn't want to see it from my own side. That's one of the things that our children tells us. Say, they are not seeing it from our own side. Listen. Another point. Being a bad or poor example of a Christian. When we are bad or poor example of a Christian, we are hearing the same message as they are hearing. And when we get home, out of the view of the pastor, they saw you contravening the thing that has been preached about. You are a bad example of a Christian. Let's look at what the Bible says in James. James 1, verse 22 to 24 says, but be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. One of the things we don't know is that as we come to the church with our children, we are hearing the same message with them. Consciously or unconsciously, they are watching you. They want to know whether what they are preaching, you are practicing. Immediately, you are not practicing it, they see you as a hypocrite. Then I say, if daddy and mommy are not practicing this, however can they get me to do it? You must first be an ambassador, a good ambassador of what you are hearing. When we started this teaching, one of the places we read, Acts chapter 1, he said those things which Jesus both began to do and teach. He first began to do them before teaching them. When you are not doing them and you want to teach them, you are up against an uphill task. It will be difficult. It will be difficult. May God help us. Then another sign of bad parenting, not giving your time or enough of it to your children. Not giving your time and enough of it to your children. And I want to stress this one very well. If you want to influence somebody, you must give time. If you don't give time, they will spend their time getting knowledge and interaction and training from other places. Yes. Whatever they have interface with more, that thing is what will get their heart. You have gone to work from morning. You came around 3 or 4. And then you went to take a shower. You stretch on your leg on the TV. You want to watch the TV. Or you are reading paper or whatever you are doing. Your child walks up to you and says, Daddy, I have something to say. Then you just say, without looking up, say on, go on, go on. You are still busy doing some other things, your laptop or whatever. He said, I'm listening to you, I'm listening. He knows, he knows he doesn't command enough of your time. He knows what you are telling him, that you are not important enough for me to leave all those things and then face you. He knows. Or you even leave all those things and you say, hey, go on. Okay, finish. I give you 5 minutes. He knows what? That daddy doesn't have time for me. I think it was here I was saying that there was a CEO, chief executive officer of a big corporation. The boy, very small boy, had all that he needed. The father would be giving him all that he needed, but no time. He was looking for time with the father, but no time. So he went to the dad one day. He said, Daddy, how much are they paying you in your this thing? The daddy said, this is how much. The daddy didn't know where he was going. These guys are smart. These boys are smart. The father didn't know where he was going. He said, how much are you earning? How much are they giving you there? He said, they give me so and so monthly. He said, Daddy, that means per hour. How much do you get? The daddy walked it. He said, so and so dollars. He said, Daddy, can I give you that amount of dollars and then you give me 1 hour of your time? You spend it with me. What's the meaning of that? That you are not having enough time for me as I will want. Check yourself. Do you have enough time for these children? It's a sign of bad parenting. If you don't have time for them, you don't chat them up, you don't give ample time and make them to interact with you, ask them various questions, you let them ask you various questions. I'm talking about father and mother now. It's not that because the father is doing it, the mother will say, hey, the father is doing it now, that one, let me bother about the kitchen. No. There are certain questions the father will ask. He will not ask the one you will ask as a mother. And there are certain questions as a mother you will ask, the father will never ask. That's why God made it two like that, different. There's something you will impact as a father. There's something the mother will impact. Whether it's a son or a daughter, you will impact different things. And God knew the two of you had the thing. That's why a family, a one-parent family, it takes the grace. What do I say? It takes the grace. A one-parent family. Many times, if it's the father that is alive, or by some means the wife had gone, the father will begin to see it. That, there's need for the mother here. There's need for the mother here. Sure, is this the father that will sit down with the daughter that is just entering puberty now? And say, this is how to do it, this is how to do it. No. As the mother, he cannot. And you as the mother and the father, you don't say, their mother is doing it. He's doing a good job. He's giving them time. Then you just go your own way. No. It's not like that. God will help us. Not, another sign, not teaching them the way of the Lord, but keeping them entertained or doing what they like most of the time. Not teaching them the way of the Lord, but keeping them entertained or doing what they like most of the time. Let's look at that, Deuteronomy chapter 6, 4-7. Deuteronomy 6, 4-7. Deuteronomy chapter 6, 4-7 says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently, that's where I'm going, unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. It's a command that you must teach them. Hey, I'm so busy. I come late. We used to sleep late, so we don't have time for this. Well, that one, you are the one that knows that one. God doesn't know that one. His command is that, teach them diligently these things. You must find the time to teach them the way of the Lord. The way of the Lord. And look at how we should do it. He said, do it diligently. He didn't say you should leave it in the hands of a Sunday school teacher. That one is Ezra. He has a good Sunday school teacher. In that our church, they are teaching them very well. That one is not, you are shirking the responsibility. He didn't say you should leave that one in the hands of anybody. You are the one that will teach that one diligently. You are the pastor. As the father, you are the pastor. As the mother, you are the assistant pastor. When the father is not around, immediately you step in. When the father is around, you assist the father in teaching Bible study, in teaching the word in that house. So if you don't do it, now, they will have freedom to keep themselves busy with whatever they can lay their hands upon, TV, whatever, entertaining themselves and all that. And that's what you will get. At the end of the day, that's what you will get. May God help us. Then, another sign of bad parenting. Not teaching children personal responsibility, tolerance, interpersonal relationships, but making excuses for their failures. Make excuses for their failures. You don't teach them how to tolerate others. Among themselves, teach them tolerance. Let them be able to tolerate themselves. You know, they are always squabbling among themselves. I slept like this. He put his leg upon me. You know, children, when you say two of you manage, sleep on this bed. They say, that mommy, come and see him. Oh, he's taking the bigger part of the bed. He's taking the bigger. Mommy, come and see him. He's too fat. He's too fat, I think. Teach them. That's the time you teach them tolerance. And come. Your God cannot create you the same way. Your sister is fatter than you. So you have to tolerate. Teach them personal responsibility. To be personally responsible. And you take, okay, this is your room. You must learn how to what? Take care of it. Without my what? Without my telling you. You must take responsibility for it. Anything that happens there. Teach them all those things. Interpersonal relationships. How to relate with others. How to relate with themselves. How to relate with others outside. But when those things are lacking, and then you begin to make excuses, you didn't teach them interpersonal relationship. When your child now, when you and your child, you are now going, and you greet your friend, and you say, oh, sick, she's sick. And she's not sick, oh. She's not sick. You just make excuse for that. You say, already, and you know that already. That's failure. You're already building a house that will not stand. Then, not discussing critical issues such as sex, not discussing it. When all those critical issues, you are not making out time to sit them down and teach them biblically their approach to it, how they should look at it, how they should handle it. They will handle it anyhow, anywhere. Then making your children believe they are better than other children. They will have a kind of superiority complex. They will be proud. Don't make them, no matter how wonderful, how great God has helped you to train them, never ever, directly or indirectly, intentionally or unintentionally, make your children feel they are better than other children. You might be rich. Don't make them feel special. Don't make them feel special. Then lastly, under that, under signs of bad parenting, not improving your parenting skill over time. You must be improving your parenting skill over time. Improve, improve, improve. Check yourself. Look at what you have been doing over time. Then we can get better. Now let's look at point number 2. But it's point 5 in that place because we started last week. Causes of parental failure. What are the things that cause parental failure? Number 1, lack of readiness by fathers to lead their homes. Lack of readiness by fathers to lead their homes. Fathers are the leaders of homes. God has so made it that the father is the head of the home. Whether it's tall, short, black, white, father is the head of the home. God has given him that responsibility. But some fathers are not ready for that responsibility. They are not ready to shoulder that responsibility. They don't want to take it. Say, you won't teach your children how to the word of God. You say, I don't have time for that. You are shaking your responsibility. You are shirking it. It's your responsibility. He said he will not do it. The mother too said, if you not do it, I will not do it. Shirk is the responsibility. When you are not ready as a father to lead the home, to provide good leadership in the home, it causes parental failure. All fathers have the responsibility to lead the home, but not all fathers are ready to carry that responsibility. That's why you see some fathers, to provide for their own household, they don't. It's still part of that leadership responsibility, not wanting to provide for the home. The moral teachings and training that ought to be done, they are not ready. They are not ready for it. That many times is the problem in many homes. Many fathers that have failed may not want to take that as their problem, but it's usually the problem, because they shirk some responsibility. They don't even discuss it. They just leave it. They have known that this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I'm supposed to do, but they will not just do it. Number 2, lack of self-discipline. Lack of self-discipline. When the father that's supposed to be the head of the home himself lacks self-discipline, what do you expect from the children? Jesus said, if they have called the head of the home Beelzebub, he said, the children, it's like that. If the father, if the mother in a home lacks self-discipline, they don't talk to themselves, they didn't bring themselves up to be personally responsible. They don't correct themselves. They don't sit down and correct themselves and say, this is the way I'm erring, and then correct their ways. How can they now correct the children? The fear of grieving God, the desire to please God, should push parents to obey God's command to train up their children. When you see that command in Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. When he's departed and when he's gone away from the home, he will not depart from it. That command, the fear of God in your life, that you don't want to grieve God on that, should push us to ensure that our children are well trained. Because if we don't train them, that means we are deliberately going against that command. Number 3, causes of parental failure. Inability or failure to train, love, and discipline their children. When you fail to discipline children, they will dishonor God, they will dishonor you, their parents, they will dishonor other people, and they will dishonor themselves. Lack of inability or failure to train, love, and discipline their children. Another cause of parental failure is laziness. Laziness, sheer laziness. Have you seen some parents, when their attention is drawn to the laxity of their child, they say, hey, leave me, I can't trouble myself. No, one child cannot come and kill me here. What is he saying? It's laziness. It's laziness. No, I have my own life to live. It's just sheer laziness. To lead to parental failure. Let's look at that. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 18. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 18 says, by much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of the hand the house droppeth through. Those two things, house and building, they are things that God uses to typify a life. Human being, a house, a building. You see, our life is like that of a building. You see? And this place is saying, by much slothfulness, the building decayed. What is slothfulness? When somebody has a building and you don't take care of it, you neglect it, you don't live inside, and you don't come there to take care of the place, it will be overgrown with weeds. After some time, reptiles will be there, rats and all those things will take over the place. After some time, you'll be noticing cracks in the roof. The ceiling will be dropping through, and that's what that place is saying. Because of laziness, because you abandoned the house, the thing will be caving in. After a long time, you can see the house tilting. After a long time, it will collapse. The same thing, if you are lazy in training children, they will be getting spoiled gradually, until after some time, morally, they will collapse. There will be a moral collapse. If you are lazy in telling them, correcting them, insisting, pointing them, discipline when you didn't go, correcting, loving, training, and you don't do all those things, you just neglect, their life will be like that. A building that is neglected, and after some time, just collapse. May it not be so with us in Jesus' name. Causes of parental failure. Spiritual problems. Lack of true devotion to God by parents. Most of the time, failure in personal godliness is at the root of parental failure. What are we saying there? When parents themselves have spiritual problems, when their own personal godliness is questionable, there is no how they can impact the children positively. Many times, this is at the root of parental failure. This is why children are badly trained. Because the parents themselves, they don't have good record of personal godliness. That's why you must check yourself. My own personal godliness, is it sufficient? Is it okay? With what I have, with the degree of godliness that I have, can I influence my child very well? Then, unwanted child or children. Unwanted child. I'm talking about causes of parental failure. Unwanted child or children. Sometimes a child can comfort without the parents looking out for one. Maybe before they wedded, the father and the mother, they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And they didn't intend that the child should come along. And the child just came. That child may not be wanted, may not be loved. Why did you come? She will not say it like that. But the way she will be relating to that child, that we didn't want you. You just came by accident. The same thing the father, we didn't want you. You just came. And you see that in the life of one man. Let's look at it and in Judges. Judges chapter 11. Judges. Unwanted child or children. Judges 11. That verse, let's start from verse 1. Now, Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor, and he was the son of an harlot, and Gilead begat Jephthah. And Gilead's wife bare him sons, and his wife's sons grew up, and they thrust out strange woman. Then Jephthah fled from his brethren, and dwelt in the land of Tob. And there were gathered vain men to Jephthah, and went out with him. You see, it was an unwanted child there. The father, Gilead, had wives. But this strange woman just gave birth to Jephthah for him. might not decide that the child should come. The wife too did not decide. I mean, that concubine did not decide. That strange woman did not decide. And then just gave back to him. They said the sons of the legal wives in the home, they pushed him out. And so where was he? Under the bridge, roaming about in the slum. Then what did he do? He said he gathered with vain men. He gathered with all these NURTW road workers, bus conductors, and began to sleep in a garage with them. And he picked their character, their this, and all manner of things. He later became their head, head of thugs and things like that. But where did that happen? How did that start? How did this thing happen? He was an unwanted child, and they pushed him out. So many unwanted child now. So many unwanted children that are pushed out. Some are in the home. They are not pushed out, but emotionally they are pushed out. Psychologically they are pushed out. They themselves, they knew that they are not wanted in that house. They knew they are not wanted. Somebody had given birth to a child for you, and you took that, and you have married another wife, now a legal wife. That one, you didn't pay the dowry, so you just took this boy, from another relationship. He just brought him to that home. If care is not taken, that child will be seen as an unwanted child in that home. Other children will see him as a what? As a stranger in that home. And that can cause problems, different kinds of problems. Then, excuse me, what about self-centeredness? That is, when parents care more for themselves. When parents care more for themselves, self-centeredness. I've heard of cases where in the home there will be nothing, and the father will sneak out with the little in his hand and go and eat consistently. At a point, the father was bold in doing it. The children wouldn't have eaten. There will be no food at home. I will tell the child, oh yeah, go and buy beans for me. And they will buy cooked beans. And he will sit down. And he will eat everything. And and the children will go and ask, he say, I don't have anything. Self-centeredness. Yes. Some people, some parents are decent about it, so they will dodge out and eat. You just see that. Looking very fresh, but will not change. How? Don't be self-centered. And that can go down all other areas when you are self-centered. Look, I'm tired. I want to sleep. Your children are getting, they are just running all over the streets with all these street urchins and riffraffs. And somebody cared enough. Mommy, so and so. Your children, they are mixing up. Let me sleep. I can't keep myself. I just came from work. I want to sleep. Oh. Look, no. That's self-centeredness. May God help us. Marital problems. Polygamy, divorce, separation, incessant fight. Each of these can cause parental failure, Then, physical health issues. When one of the parents is disabled, has problem, bedridden, and things like that, it can hamper the training of a child, which means the other person will have to do more. The burden will now be on the other person, the other parent. Then poverty and employment. Poverty. When the family is poor, no enough can lead to a lot of things. The girl child comes to the father, say, Daddy, I need this, I need that. I mean, things that are very, very important for the child at that level when he's an adolescent. And the father said, no, look, I don't have money. Go and meet your mommy. You went to the mommy. The mommy said, you have not gone to your daddy. And they are just tossing. But sometimes she will keep quiet. You just see that she will keep quiet. Then you think that I've succeeded in chasing her away from my table. You have not succeeded. Somebody somewhere is doing that work. And you are losing that child. Poverty is a terrible thing that tears the family, cause problem, cause parental failure. At a point, that child that has been sourcing for money for herself, for himself, outside, to feed, to do this, to do things that the parents should do for him or her, that sometimes you just see that he will no longer listen to the parents. He said, we are going to Holiness Bible Church. This is what they teach us. They say no. He will not say no to you, but he will say, I'm not listening to that one. Because you failed in some things. You have failed in some things. May God help us. Career, ambition, and pursuit of wealth and fame. Some people, some parents, right from their youth, they have decided, I want to pursue this career and I want to get to the peak. I want to be a professor. And it's laboring. It's supposed to close by 3. It will close by 6 because he wants to be a what? A professor. Career ambition. Stay long in the office. The mother wants to be a banker. They gave her target. She doesn't want to lose her job. So both of them, they fan away. The children are left to themselves. That's career ambition. Pursuit of wealth. You want to get money to train them. It's good to get money to train them. But as you get money to train them, the ones you should do by instructions, you make sure you do them. Sometimes when you are reading Psalm, you will say, they will say the mass kill of David. The meaning of mass kill of David is that this is a psalm of instruction that I use in instructing my children. A psalm to infuse morals. This one is not a psalm for thanksgiving or whatever. Anytime you see mass kill, it's talking about psalm for instruction. So, because you are pursuing wealth, career, and ambition, does not mean you should now forsake the instructions you should give to your children or time you should spend with them. Then frustration and discouragement can also cause parental failure. Then lack of education, then drug use, drug abuse and addiction, alcohol and smoking, all these things, they can cause parental failure. When the parents are using drug, don't think that drug abuse only means taking cannabis, Indian hemp, and things like that. When you use kakpo, all this thing, you jam them together. You have labored very well in the day. You say, I'm feeling backache. Panadol alone cannot solve my problem. You put Panadol plus this plus that. The whole thing is now in your hand like this. You just put it. And you are doing everything. That's drug abuse already. Because you are destroying this body. By that, God will help us. Outcomes of parental failure. What are the outcomes? When there is parental failure, when the home is scattered, the children are going their separate ways, what happens? What are the outcomes? Negligence, mental problems. What do I mean by this? when parents fail to train their children, it can lead to mental problem in the life of the children. Look at somebody like Jephthah that we were talking about. He was neglected. He was going about with riffraffs and street urchins. Look at some of those children that you see under the bridge. They are the ones that ultimately turn to madmen. Because they will take Indian hemp, they will take all manner of things. After some time, they will run mad. Yes. Educational problems. That's another outcome of parental failure. What do you mean by educational problem? Academic dullness. You have a situation whereby the children will be dull. They'll be dull in school. You may have a situation whereby they'll be sleeping in the class because of the home is not settled. Maybe the parents are always fighting in the night. They will fight and fight and fight. They will make noise. The children will wake up. They will fight till around 2. Then the children will sleep. It is that 2 they will sleep. And this thing happens consistently. And then 2 they will sleep. When do you expect them to wake up? To wake up 5 or 6. When they wake up, they have not had enough sleep. On the average, a child should have about 6 to 7 hours of sleep. Sound sleep. They now get to class, they will be sleeping in the class. That will lead to dullness. They will not understand. Their brain will be cloudy. A lot of things happen when there's parental failure. It's a chain thing. It's a chain thing. One thing leads to the other. One thing leads to the other. Then there may be loss of interest in education. At some point when he keeps failing, he brings you the report. He says, you are the one that carried the first from the back every time. After some time, it happened this session, it happened last session, it happened that one, it happened. And he knew all the problems that is happening in the household. After some time, he will lose interest in education. Not because it's naturally dull, but because some things have come together to fuel that is dullness. So he will lose interest in education. Then the next thing that will happen is he will drop out of school. But when all these things happen, parents now begin to wonder, what happened? What happened? It's all these things that begins to lead over time to these outcomes that we are talking about. Then, financial problems. The child will not be able to sustain himself. Then he will be unreliable. He will be irresponsible. Then you may begin to discover some antisocial behavior in the life of the child. Antisocial behavior, rebellion, stubbornness, headiness, and things like that. Then homelessness. After some time, he begin to run away from home. He doesn't want the home anymore because he has seen some things in the home. He has gone to the home of one friend and he has seen how peaceful the home is. Can run from his own home and run to that friend's home. From there, he begins to jump from home to home. Then, negative attitude towards life. The child begins to have some negative attitude to life. That the way life is, doesn't like it. Will not like life again. Then loss of parental ability to mold children's character. Because of all these things, when children get to this level, that they are running away, they don't like the home again, you can't mold the character. It will just take the grace of God. Then loss of peace and happiness, shame and reproach. Then loss of the soul to Satan forever. May that not be our portion in Jesus' name. Lastly, forces that influence children. Forces that influence children. I will just once, because we are quite familiar with them. I want to mention them so that you can take particular, you can watch against these things. You can walk against them because they are the forces facing the children. Number one, Unsaved peers and friends. Unsaved peers and friends, colleagues in schools that are not saved. You must guard the heart of your child against them. Because whether you like it or not, they are having interaction and interface with them. Unsaved peers and friends. They are the one your children stay with when they go from home by 8 o'clock and they come by 2. They are the ones they are staying with. So, as a matter of fact, you must teach them the way of the Lord so that when those ones are teaching them something contrary, they will refuse it. If you don't do it, if you don't first of all put those things in them, this thing is a race, oh. It's a race. That's the person that will gain the upper hand. First of all, get to your children, to their hearts, with the word of God. When they now get to school and the peers want to influence them negatively, it will be difficult. Because you have put something there first. I'll give you an example. Somebody has eaten. He has eaten, taking malt and everything, wonderful things. Eating fruit and everything. You now go to another place. His belly is full. You now go to another place. They say, this is roasted corn. Can you eat? I said, no, I don't want that. What's roasted corn? I said, I'm full. Do you want boli? I said, no. I don't eat that. Because what? It's food. That's the strategy. Feel them first before they step out. When you feel them first, whatever they see there, they turn it. They turn it off. Number 2, unsaved neighbors. Talking about unsaved peers and friends. When they leave your house and go to a higher institution, they will stay in the higher institution, right? They are with unsaved peers. So you just have to get to their heart first before these unsaved peers. Number 2, unsaved neighbors. On your streets. That's where they pass to school. That's where they pass. And when they come back from school, you send them around. They see all these people. They pick them. Oh, escort me. Let's go and buy something. Mommy said I should go and buy Maggi. And they are going and they are chatting. Yes. Unsaved neighbors. You can read Deuteronomy 7, 1-7 there. Number 3, secular-owned schools and government-owned schools. Yes. These are the days I see that parents don't go out of their way to find out what are they teaching my children. Bring your note. Let me see what they are teaching you in civic education. Let me go and look at your school. When you are marching, what kind of song do you sing? Do they teach you both Muslim and Christian songs? You must care about all those things. You must care. Because those are places where the influence comes from. And look at the schools today. Secular schools, government-owned schools. You have schools owned by secular people that don't believe in God, they don't believe anything. You know what they teach? Terrible things. When they say we want to do end of the year party, you see what they will be asking them to bring, what they want to do. Culture, they will say cultural, there will be cultural dance, there will be cultural this. You are going to put the girl will just tie Ofi up to this place, finish, and take Rukere, and be doing like this. And God will help us. Number 4, ungodly media. Radio, TV, newspaper, magazine, books. Many of them are ungodly. I did mass comm. I know what comes out of the media in my time. Not to talk of this time. The media is rotten. TV, radio, they are rotting. What comes out of them is bad. You can't just decide to expose your children to it anyhow, indiscriminately. Then the social media. That one is a devil in the home. That one is devil in the home. Various apps. And they are coming. They are bombarding everywhere. A child that you just come one day inside his room, you just peep like this. You see the cloth over. You say, my child is sleeping. He's not sleeping. The thing is under the cloth and it's pressing different. The sites you don't know. He knows. He knows. Number 6. Money and love of money. We can't read all those places, those references. You can read them at home. These are the things influencing, These things have influenced we ourselves. Money and love of money. That small child that you are seeing is already in a head. In this world, what I should get first. Money. That when you get money, you are what? You are king. You'll be held high up like this. So that's why you see everybody in the society pursuing what? Money. And Jesus said, you cannot serve God and mammon. It's not possible. End time spirits. We see that in 2 Timothy 3:1-4. Then sports, another popular youth culture. Sports. These are the things influencing them. Sports, another youth popular culture. Then the world system and worldliness. The glory of the world. The world system. The way the world is structured. The way the world operates. These are the things that are dictating for our children. Let's rise up and go and pray. Lord, help me. Let me not lose my children to all these things. Let me not be guilty of not training these children. Let me not be guilty. Let me not return to you without these children. Shall we go and pray? Let's talk to God.